that
We're gonna strike.
they were gonna do a strike.
Oh, come out the bag right now. We were gonna strike if this did not come back to work.
Workers are defining the future of Amazon in the Inland Empire, and for that matter, warehousing. Or they have to. The health of our communities depends on workers having a voice. As many of our listeners know, the last few years have been marked by community fights to ensure our voice is not only heard, but included as the region continues to expand to grow and develop even more. One of the biggest fights that we are a part of has been the airport at the city of San Bernardino. It's a former Air Force base that was decommissioned in the 90s and now is back with a lot of major retailers and logistics operators in the space. Amazon opened in April 2021 to much community concern and opposition. They opened in part by promising city leaders the jobs would be good. The former mayor of San Bernardino told everyone that people working at the Amazon Air Hub would be making $55,000 a year. Well, unfortunately, we know that was a lie. And it's not the experience of most workers there. But out of the warehouse has emerged a strong and badass group of worker leaders who are organizing, striking, and holding Amazon accountable. They are energetic, they are strategic, and they are funny. They call themselves the Inland Empire Amazon Workers United. And we can expect that they will grow and continue to challenge Amazon as the corporation expands even more into our community. Today, we are lucky to be joined by Alfie and Sara, two sharp, opinionated leaders of IEAWU and two of the tens of thousands of people who work for Amazon. Alfie and Sara are open, transparent, and ready to be heard.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm here with some awesome members of the
IEAWU.
Yeah.
Who? Me? That introduction? Yes, we are here from IEAWU. We are Amazon workers, and we happen to work at KSBD, which is here in San Bernardino. But that IEAWU that you mentioned, just so that everybody knows, that's not an outsider. Those are the people that are working within Amazon. We are not an outside organization. We are the employees of Amazon. That's IEAWU, Inland Empire Amazon Workers United.
United.
Yes, united.
Okay.
Miss Sara, are you united with us?
I am.
Yeah. So just if we could do like a little bit of background of like where y'all from, where do you live right now, like, and just kind of how you started working at KSBD. Alfie.
I'll let Sara. Her commute is more interesting than mine.
So I am originally from San Diego, and my living situation changed due to COVID. And so my brother offered me a place to stay at his house until I found a job. And so Amazon was hiring in mass numbers during the pandemic, and KSBD was just about to open up. So they were just hiring like crazy. So I applied, and I was working pretty quickly at Amazon.
From the time that you applied to when you started actually going in, like how long did that take approximately?
I definitely less than a month, I think.
Yeah. So they were trying to fill up the new.
Yeah. There was, I want to say at least maybe 100 people in my hiring group. 50 to 100 for sure.
Wow. And you were in the first class, the very first?
I think they hired a different department first because their training takes longer, but somewhere in that first hiring section, yeah.
I got hired about a month after her. And before that, I used to work for a law firm. I used to do workers' comp law firm calendaring. Wow. So yeah, my old employer had that same reaction. Wow, like you're leaving me to join like the bad guy? And honestly, in that moment, like I didn't have any good guy, bad guy mentality. The bad guy to me was the commute, and I was commuting over an hour to go down to Temecula to work. So the idea of coming to this Amazon building that was 5 minutes away from my parents' home here in San Bernardino sounded great to me. Somebody recommended it to me. They worked out on the ramp and they told me, hey, come give it a try. You know, like you could work on the airport. So this whole time I thought I was going to be doing a lot of this, you know, wave it here,
Me too.
over
Me
there.
too.
You're gonna be
I've
like,
been running away from the warehouse industry my whole life, truck driving industry in particular. And this Amazon has an airport and a warehouse. And within the warehouse, you could either deal with the airplanes or the trailers or with just packages exclusively. But fate would have it that I landed back in San Bernardino to come deal with the truck driving industry all over again. Without knowing, they put me in inbound, which is receiving the trucks, unloading the trucks so that we could get the cargo ready to put it on the airplanes to send it on out. Fate has spoken.
it was like sealed. Like your fate
And
was
unlike
sealed.
Sarah, I applied, but I wanted to give my employer the courtesy of replacing me. So I told them a month. They actually offered me a job within the next week. So I went into the San Bernardino facility. I passed their drug test, and they wanted to give me a start date the following week. And I had to tell them to please put me the following month because I wanted to give my employer plenty of time. But around that time, they were hiring anybody and anybody that was willing to work at an Amazon for a $3,000 signing. Excuse me, not signing bonus, because when I started, they did not give it to me. It was a contractual obligation that I stay there 6 months to get the $3,000.
So you have to like keep working for 6 months at least, so you don't like run off of the bonus.
They give you $1,000 after 1 month, and then after the 6 months, they gave you the other $2,000.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys already talked a little bit about like what the area, the warehouse that you work is called. So you're saying that it's part of like not just the logistics center where people work like packaging, but also like there's an airport attached to it. So like if you could just describe like how is it working? Like is it very loud? Can you hear the planes? Like are you guys outside and inside? Like just kind of generally.
Yeah, it's pretty loud inside the warehouse, even if the doors are not open and there's not like a plane arriving or departing or something like that is taking place. It's just a loud place in general. And then like when the doors are open, you can smell the exhaust from the jet fuel inside the building.
Oh my gosh.
And if it's that strong, I've had people come to me and say that their throat hurt or they felt like they were getting a headache from the fumes. And being someone that works on the inside of the building, like if that's affecting us, what's happening to the people outside on the ground with those same fumes?
Yeah, we work on the docks. I shared I'm inbound, Sarah started outbound. So we deal with the dock end, which is trailers. We don't get that much of the jet fuel exhaust coming in, but imagine the building like a huge corridor, because when the windows from the fingers department are open, or not windows but big old doors, and then the ones like the dock doors are open on ours, it creates like a little breezeway. That's when we start to smell it. When that plane lands after 1:30, you don't really smell it, and then afterwards when the trailers start opening, you start smelling it. So it's not something that we notice right away. It's something that creeps up on us. Our co-workers that work at the beginning of those doors, they smell it. I think that's probably why they didn't want to install fans for like the first year where they work, so that the smell of the jet fuel wouldn't rush to them. But it took a whole year and a half for them to get fans.
Almost.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
almost 2 years.
Are there air conditioning units in there, or like it's
Yes.
too big? Okay.
Yeah.
There is.
That's
there
a
is an air
whole
conditioning.
nother shenanigan.
Yeah, just keep in mind though, Caroline, that we work in San Bernardino, so air conditioning is a luxury, but we don't all get to enjoy it. Like when you're working on the warehouse, the air conditioning units, I promise you, are there so that the robotics system does not overheat on them.
Wow.
The main central, they're in the middle of the building coming down, but the people do not.
It doesn't like reach the people. Like you don't feel it.
It's over the AR floor. If
Oh,
that tells
okay.
you something, like there's a robotics floor where the units are letting out the air. So you tell me if it's gonna reach the people or the robots first.
That's really interesting. So when you guys started, like what time of year was it? Like was
Stop. I started in Pride. I started in June.
In June.
I am this big flamboyant person that grew up in warehouse industries. I never had a welcoming experience in a warehouse. So when I went in June 10th, June 13th. I don't even remember my start date, but I went on Pride Month and they had the floor lined in a rainbow, and I thought that it was the prettiest thing I'd ever seen in a warehouse. Mind you, I'd been going to warehouses from the age of 6 and onward. I never felt welcome in a warehouse, but when I went to KSBD, I did. I'm not going to rag on them. At that moment, I did feel part of a bigger picture that they wanted me as part of the company.
Yeah. So if you started in June, that means you started like August, summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. I started in June, and the only reason I emphasize that is because it's Pride Month. So they went out of their way to decorate for Pride. Sarah started April 2021. What does your little red thing say?
April. I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
They gave, count.
They gave you like these pilot pull tags, like emergency.
I didn't get one.
But when I started there, the people that actually started on day one, it was like it was like a token of pride that like you had this because you started here. Now, fast forward a year and a half, those people that had that sense of pride that were walking around with that, they're far and few. And the people that are actually carrying that badge or that thing around is because they probably found it somewhere. Because later on down the line, nobody gave about like a sense of pride from starting there at the
Can he say that?
Yeah, you can curse.
Girl, it's a podcast. They can bleep it if they don't like it.
Yeah. True.
I just called you bad words right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you feel free to, speak however you want. Like if we have to, sure, we can bleep it out. But okay, so part of like what you're saying is that like as the time went on, you kind of like realized like, oh, at first you felt like really welcomed and that they had decorated for Pride and all that stuff. Like when did you start realizing that like things weren't really as they seemed, like things were starting to like crumble a little bit?
It was probably the all hands meeting where the a group of associates stuck up for a petition that they had already passed around and had been signed by like 200 associates, but I didn't know.
If I'm not
mistaken,
mistaken,
go ahead. You know more.
No, that
about
was around March. I just wanted to put in the month from what you're saying. That was around March.
So in like a month, you started realizing.
No, the following year. March
a year.
2022.
Yeah, I was fully immersed in the Amazon Kool-Aid for probably
you were drinking
about
the
first year of my employment there. Yeah.
Wow.
Sarah was writing for Amazon so hard. We almost got her.
I almost got an Amazon
some balm for the rash between her legs. From writing so hard. Yeah, that's how hard I noticed it when I started applying for a better position. I'm a person that
within the company.
Yeah, okay. I'm a person that brings a lot to the table. I bring a lot of ideas to the table, and I love talking. So if I have a reason to talk, I'll throw the ideas out there. But when I started seeing that people just wanted my ideas but not my value or my input, I said, no, you just want my ideas to take credit for them, but you don't want to see how they come together. And when I started applying for positions that they're going to give me more pay for what I was doing, that's when I started noticing that I was just of value to them as a labor number, not an idea laborer.
Yeah. So, like, what kind of jobs were you applying to? And then, like, is it common for folks who are kind of, like, more on the hands-on thing to move up into those kinds of jobs?
No, they want you to stay hands-on because you're a high-producing number. Right out of the top, I actually applied to become a learning ambassador, which is what they call their trainers, that they're paying people no extra incentives to train your new hires. I did that, but I felt that I was part of the problem because people were sipping my Kool-Aid, not Amazon's Kool-Aid.
You were pouring the Kool-Aid and passing it to people.
I was pouring it to them, and then because I was very personable and nice and getting to know their name, I was accidentally like setting them up for this high expectation of what they were going to go into. And when they were going into their departments, they weren't even being addressed by their name. They weren't even being addressed by anything. Like they were, hey, you there. And like I felt that I was overhyping this place, and it wasn't what it was supposed to be. After the learning ambassador stuff, I even tried to do the PA position, which is a process assistant. Everyone thought Sara was going to be the first PA because she was doing all their like dirty work of, hey you guys, grab the pallet jack. And she would have this like team of 10 people following her to do the work. She was a natural leader. A natural. And people saw that like, okay, she is she's someone that knows what's happening. Let's trust her. We all thought she was going to get it. We applied. I actually went the learning route because I thought I'm going to teach everybody how to do this, and I'm going to learn how to do this at all the Amazons.
So, Sarah, did you apply to be a PA, or was that...
Never. It looked like a really terrible job.
Yeah.
It looked like a lot more stress for only a little bit of pay. So I would just kind of do that job without having to take accountability for that position.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of the similar things that they do.
Some of us were doing those jobs already without the pay.
I prefer not to because I don't want the stress. It didn't seem like
Like, it wasn't worth it.
no, like it's definitely not worth it.
Yeah. So back to what you were saying about, like, that thing that helped you realize that Amazon wasn't, like, the greatest place to work, that they were passing around a petition.
Right.
What was the petition for?
We had some site closures during the holidays, and it really affected a lot of our coworkers and how much money they were making during that time of year. Not only to, like, pay their bills, but to provide, holiday stuff for their families, right? And when you lose, like, almost a whole week of pay during that time, that's rough, right? So they started a petition about that, and they did get a victory out of it. We don't close. I think it's like only one site closure per holiday now, and before they were just indiscriminately closing
whenever they want. They created a new system that they would not close it with 2 consecutive days within that pay period because they didn't want to affect you. So they were only allowed to close it 1 day out of that pay period in a row so that you wouldn't be affected.
And now they offer more VET to make up hours for the site closures. And that's something that coworkers at our building won before we were formerly IEAW.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry, just what was
Shout out to
VET?
the OGs.
Yeah.
VET is when you do voluntary extra time. So the people that missed out on the opportunity to work their 40 hours a week, they said this is not fair. We are willing to work the 40 hours a week, but you close the building and you're not willing to pay us. After enough people signed this petition, they brought it forth to our management team. Their answer to that, they couldn't back pay or compensate you for closing the building. Instead, the VET was a voluntary extra time that people were allowed to sign up for without any caps. So people then took advantage of it to not just work their 40 hours a week, but then make overtime and then double overtime in like a singular week. So instead of doing 5 days a week, some people were doing their 60 hours a week to maximize on the money that they missed out on previously. But it's an undervalue. It's an under the work of a warehouse worker. I want my 40 hours a week to show significance. I don't want to have to break my neck or break my back working 60 to 70 hours a week to be able to provide for somebody. I should be able to provide for myself, not even for my family. I live for myself and I can't even do that off of a 40-hour a week job. And that's what we want. We want to be recognized. We want to value the work of a labor worker, of a warehouse worker. We want to take the stigma away that warehouse workers are stupid, that warehouse workers take the jobs that nobody else wants. We were just stuck here for an unfortunate situation, but value my 40 hours the same that you value other people's 40 hours a week.
Yeah. I mean, all work is like dignified work.
Yes.
Should be paid.
That's what I want. Dignify my work. Value it.
So we want to work in dignity for sure.
Yeah, of course. So that petition, would you like consider that a worker win? Like, how did that came to, be? Like, how did that happen?
So at this all hands meeting that we had,
It was before that.
I know the petition and everything was before that, but this group of people in succession, they came up and took the mic and addressed the issue of the site closures and stuff.
I want to know them what they are, though.
At that point, I was still drinking.
They're co-workers of ours, not a group of people. They're co-workers of ours that spoke up about this concern.
Facts.
Yeah, let's put faces to this group. It's not a silent group. It's not a mystery group. It's our co-workers that felt, hey, we got the short end of the stick. We need to bring this up because they closed this building down with no warning and no explanation, and more importantly, no pay. So those people, when it happened 2 weeks in a row, because we all know that Christmas and New Year's Eve happened consecutively, 1 week after another, they lost out on that amount of work 1 week after another. And
Yeah.
it took losing that much hours from your pay that they had to speak up about it. Unfortunately, some coworkers of ours went homeless. I don't want to even use that word, but some people lost their housing. They lost
Wow. So
So at this meeting, when they stood up for what was right, it changed my thinking. Something switched, and I'm like, I have been doing what is in the complete best interest of Amazon my entire time working here, and they just put a face to it. And so it started becoming about my coworkers at that point.
you like broke out of the matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took the red pill instead of
That's what happened. Actually, I think I was force fed it, but it was not a bad thing.
By Alfie?
So.
No.
No, by my coworker.
Other people,
Other
but then
coworkers.
she saw me that I was already on that side.
So it just helped you like
Yeah.
get influenced.
They welcomed me though. They saw me strangled over there, like, oh hey, you took the red pill too? Come over to this side. How long have you been here? You by yourself?
Yeah.
Boom.
They started
Look at
getting
all
you.
of us. This is a group of people that are concerned. You're not alone. And that's how this collective became. Unfortunately, it takes a group of people that feel outcast, left out, or unheard. That when you get those people together, then you get the herd.
Yeah.
You get the herd of people feeling heard. Because we were unheard, but the herd of people gets heard.
Yeah, we
Yes.
heard now.
They're hurting,
Yeah.
we're hurting. You know? With the
With
T.
the pronunciation. Yeah.
Yes. Synonyms.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that started a lot of waves then, right? Like this small collective started different waves of like campaigns. So just on the wave of like all of this worker power, all of these like campaigns were happening. So I know there was like the raising the wage by $1, right?
We asked for 5, but yes, we did get $1.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Like, how did it start? Like, why did you guys pick 5?
Being in Southern California, that sounded like the right wage. $22 an hour, it obviously had a ring to it. Because after what we did, after our strike, that's when fast food companies in California raised their minimum wage to $22 an hour. So what we were thinking of was already out there as the bare minimum of a livable wage to be in Southern California.
Yeah. And what did they say, like, in regards to that? Like, how did they obviously they didn't like listen right away and say, boom, $22 an hour, right?
No.
No, they basically told us to shut up and wait.
Yeah. More,
And wait for what?
Yeah, more eloquently, what they did was Sarah mentioned that first petition. When they got the second one that said we wanted the $5, they said, we're going to evaluate the labor that's happening here. We're going to see if we're able to give you guys another raise for the year-end summary or something. So they told us to wait till September. And then after September, they told us, well, you guys get $1.30. The night shift did get a raise. So our fight was successful. They did listen to giving specific roles or specific shifts like the night shift a raise. So that is a victory that we're claiming, because before that, if they wouldn't have fought for that, they would have not got a raise. So part of the $5 that we asked for, Nights is able to enjoy. I just do not live that vampire life, so I do not get
So it's
to
not for
enjoy
you.
the fight that or the rewards to my fight.
A shout out to night shift soldiers.
Okay, the vampires.
Yeah. Like, so basically that first campaign to like increase to $22 an hour, right? That's all like brought up by the workers collectively. Like you guys all talked amongst yourselves, and like that's what you decided to like start doing as a campaign, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so there's another campaign that I wanted to also ask about where Sara, and like if you could just give a background of how that happened and like what made you go missing.
Ooh, the Where's Sarah campaign.
Where were you?
Fast forward from like October when we did the strike. You know, we got our message across, and then as part of the movement where people are looking for more direction, because 6 months ago this strike was the biggest thing that we could like come up with. We didn't even know that we were going to reach that level. So to get to that level and pass it, now we're at a place that we want more change, and we want them to listen to us, but we're still finding ways to express that properly.
Yeah.
And trying to find that way, they are taking that as us not making a move. So they're trying to with us.
So we did do a lot of things during that span of time. ULP strike, and now we've done quite a few different things, like
community things. We did things to give back to the workers, not to ask Amazon to do things for the workers. But us as a collective, we did a toy drive.
With our partnership with the community, we were able to,
and the help of WWRC, who has helped us give back. I've worked for companies that give a whole lot back, but with the help of the reach that we have, we are still able to give back to my coworkers. Because we were more focused on making the holidays a bearable time, because we are all in this situation where we're making the same amount of money, and there's people that have 4 or 5 kids. There's people that have more. We just wanted to make the holidays a warm, fun time for them. So we were not thinking about make Amazon give us more money. Is how could we give back to our coworkers, because we're asking them to join us in these petitions.
You were like building community, like taking this time to, you know, maybe not do do another campaign, but like work with
IEAW are the people within that building, that we're not outsiders, that we were the people in there helping each other. That's what we wanted to show them. So yes, and they took our they're not doing nothing, they're not fighting us, let's fight them. So little microaggressions started building up, where they saw people that were pillars, or people that stand out more, or people that are not scared to ask for employee rights, or go straight up to a manager that has a red vest or stripes. With that red stripe means that they're an area manager or something higher up. You have people that work there that are not scared to approach those people and tell them, hey, this is not correct. In California law states, blah, 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 blah. Get us the water. Get us the mats. Get us the ergo mats for safe working conditions. So they saw someone like Sara that brings these concerns up on a daily basis, or weekly basis, I should say. They said, let's see if we can with them. I don't want to quote them. I don't want to say that this came from them, but
allegedly.
From an outsider's perspective, I felt that they were trying to with us, because they were trying to see how much they could dig in. And a week before, they were doing that with me, going through unnecessary screening processes through security, and then the week later they with Sara. So there's no coincidence to their specific timeline of events, that they were going after people that stood out or stuck out as part of the movement.
I want to be clear about something. This is all retaliation for organizing. This is absolutely retaliation. I can't talk about specifics, but I'm definitely targeted, and it's definitely retaliation, and it has an effect on organizing and my ability to organize.
Yeah, I mean, it's
which is against the law.
And they tell you like, we would never retaliate.
Yeah, well, they say that because then they can have that as their excuse, because retaliation is so hard to prove, right? You have to keep very close record of all that stuff, right? So they just say like, oh, it's
your average worker doesn't know that they could walk around and document things. Because sometimes, like with me, I'm not even gonna lie, Caroline, I tried to, and I have the best memory, and at first this was helping me to create the timeline of chronological events. Then I had to start writing it. They put so much barriers where I don't even feel comfortable taking a pen and paper into work no more to chronologically timeline these events that I'm feeling retaliated against, or I feel that they are treating me differently than my other workers, whether they're workers that don't organize, or other workers that don't come out as gay.
Yeah.
I have a lot of problems in that building because I'm so boisterous about being flamboyant and gay and making sure that if I'm here and if I'm producing high numbers for you, you make this place comfortable for me.
He outgays me on the daily basis.
And I outwork you.
It's
outwork
definitely
you.
a thing.
You
It's-
better speak the truth. I outwork you and outgay you on a daily basis.
I mean, you're like 6'2".
But anyways, back to Sarah.
Speaking of standing out,
Yeah,
you're
being
like, you guys are
outweighed.
outstanding.
My friend Sarah was unfairly suspended because I don't want to
Yeah.
track or lose track of what you asked
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Because we were spinning this whole thing. They literally saw that, okay, this is someone that is bringing up concerns. Let's
Yeah.
suspend her.
They saw you as like somebody who's like leading the charge, right? You guys were doing so many worker organized things like the walkouts and like the campaigns and stuff like that.
I am one of the more vocal leaders, and that definitely paints a larger target on my back. But
For sure.
all of us are facing retaliation. It's not
Wow.
just me, and it may be different for different members of the committee and
Or
what they're
different
facing,
forms.
or come in different forms. But
Yeah.
it's happening to all of us.
Yeah.
So what they
yeah.
took is they saw Sarah. There's something. Oh, we're gonna open up that door. Union busters. UB.
This
This
is a
company
U
pays
word.
a ridiculous amount of money to employ
For legal
outsiders.
reasons, that might be a high-priced labor consultant.
Yeah. A specialized labor consultant.
Yeah,
There you
so
go.
fuck her raise, fuck my raise, fuck your raise if you're watching at KSBD. But they're not gonna pay us. They're
No,
gonna
they're
pay.
gonna bring these people in.
Okay, so
let's go.
basically, there was a situation with the management where you brought up a concern and it was not heard.
Several concerns.
Several concerns, and they were not addressed. And so instead of addressing the concerns, they decided to just send you home,
Suspend you.
send you to your residence. Basically.
Correct.
Okay. And you were supposed to be gone for an amount of days.
Correct.
And what happened? Were you gone for that amount of days?
Sort
Sarah,
of.
go
What
home
was-
for 2 days.
So yeah.
While you're home, then we're gonna up it to more days.
Yeah, so
So,
you were sent away.
The week was cleared on my schedule, so I actually came back before the end of that week. So, and that was due to worker power,
Campaigning.
my coworkers in the building, the community support outside the building, and that comes from various organizations.
Yeah, from various organizations.
right.
And
including-
people in positions
And
of power,
yes.
like community
Like,
members.
Ben
Ben
Reynoso.
Reynoso. Yes, you could
He
say
went
his
on
name.
he went on Instagram and basically told Amazon, and
Get
so that was pretty dope. Shout out to Ben, thank you, sir.
Nice. So all that was happening while you were supposed to be sent away, right? Like, even though they sent one person away, that did not affect the movement, because obviously the movement is not one person.
No, I think it actually got stronger.
Yeah.
And then after that,
I hate to make the
show
villain
of
reference.
support
We're
for
Hydra.
me. And then, like, all of a sudden, the number of high-priced consultants went up considerably at our building.
Yeah.
We're like Hydra. You chop one head off, like five more come out in its
after the
place.
show of worker power, they more than doubled down.
No, I don't even think that it doubled down. They just literally said, we cannot send this person to with them in their department. Let's hire 4 in her place. Let's put new faces since we can't send her.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I don't know how much of that you did.
I think we were being pretty
Yeah,
general.
it was vague. That last
Yeah.
part is vague.
I saw some of the Instagram posts, like your face on a milk carton, and like
Stop, that was me. That was
you.
me.
That was
I
you.
literally-
meme. Oh
I'm
my
old
God.
enough to get the reference. All you old folk know that when kids go missing, you put their face on a milk carton.
Right.
Yeah. But now
Before
it's
they
on
were
milk.
on the
Gen
Walmart
Z
missing
didn't
persons
get
board,
it.
they were actually on milk.
Before Amber was missing,
Right.
you know, my girl Amber Alert,
Amber Alert.
there was milk carton.
It was a thing.
I have it
for
in my
those
car
of
if you guys
who
want a
don't
picture
remember.
of it.
Yeah, we'll put a picture up like right now. I'm just kidding. No, I
It
don't want
is
to
in
make
my
more work for
car. I
Michael.
keep all Amazon or anti-Amazon propaganda in my vehicle.
At all times, just
Yeah.
in case of anything.
In case a fire starts, be the first one to light up. With all that heat, oof,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
like butane. All that propaganda is butane in my vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
That and that polyester jacket I have. I have a floor length parka that I wear to work. I would have scared those bitches, okay? Especially, they make us wear like composite toe work boots. I look crazy going into work, but sometimes you gotta commit to looking crazy so they don't fuck with you. And that's where I'm at.
That's a sign.
That's where I'm
I
at.
can't right now.
That is where I am at today.
So when did that all happen, by the way? Just to put that on the timeline.
Oh, I-
3 weeks ago.
No, I've been crazy since
No,
March.
we're talking about the Where's Sarah campaign. Like that was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I could tell you because she came back like the first week of
I want to say
January.
It started, on the 6th.
It was the week of New Year's.
Okay.
So, like,
I'll tell you right now. You came back on the 6th. She was told to stay the fuck home on Monday the 2nd and Tuesday the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay. If we can say that. But
Stay the
if
fuck
that's
home. I
allowed.
didn't say the other word.
That was
Sti-
after you talked to your management?
yeah.
No. Oh, yeah. That was the
So-
Friday before.
Yeah.
Anyways, the point is that you came back.
Oh, yes.
You returned.
And it's definitely because of the support I received.
Yeah. I mean, people were making the posters of you.
Yeah, she had
and
cake
Ben Reynoso.
yesterday.
Stickers.
Ask her about her
Stickers.
Running on the
cake.
back of their vest. My,
Were people like parading you around and like.
Yeah,
I dressed up as her.
My buddy here, Alfie, dressed up as me.
Did you get a wig?
He did his hair red.
Yeah.
And he walked like me.
I did a little
throughout the
orange
building.
hair. I wore Dickies.
Have a bit of a shuffle.
I sagged my shorts, which I never do. But I wore shorts without elastic waistband for the first time. Or no, I wear denim sometimes. But I wore shorts without an elastic waistband once to dress up as Sara in Dickies that were hitting past my knee, and I never do that. I dressed up the straightest that I've ever looked at work, but I felt the gayest with my hanging out because I was sagging.
Okay. So basically, people came out to support the movement from, Councilmember Reynoso and like other organizations in San Bernardino. So apart from, all the things that they did, what more could people have done? Is there anything else that people could have done? Because I'm sure you guys are going to have more campaigns and more problems and more issues that you need community support in.
Right. So they were actually talking about if I didn't return to work,
We're
that
gonna
they
strike.
They were gonna do a strike.
Oh,
Yeah,
come out the
so-
bag right now. We were gonna strike if this did not come back to work. Work is not
They were
the same
they
without
were about
Sara.
to ride at dawn for you.
Yes.
They were about to
facts.
do another walkout.
It was gonna be like the Lucky Charm walkout because we wanted our leprechaun back.
That's sweet. So yeah, I mean, of course, like people are going to be committed to the movement, and the community is going to keep coming out. And I wanted to just ask this like final question of like, what does organizing mean for you? Like, do you consider yourselves an organizer, or do you just, like, what does it mean to you? Like, what's
Sara, you could lead.
I do now, right? I do now. I didn't for a while, and then I started to believe. I started to believe that by talking to my coworkers that we could build this thing called worker power, and that we could change things not only in the building that I work in, but other warehouses in the IE, and make things better for, the class of people.
Yeah,
I'm not an organizer.
that's fair.
From all of this, the traits that I bring to the table attract organizers, but I'll be quite honest, I'm not an organizer. I'm a human person. I want people to see us as humans. And part of being seen like a human is bringing up issues that people that are not heard, which are usually organizers or immigrants or people of a less class that I have to bring up. So I'm not an organizer, but I'm a human rights activist.
So same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll come up. That's the first time I've
very-
ever like
very
uttered those
effective.
words. So it felt great to
Yeah.
say that and to share that with you guys, because I've expressed with the people from Warehouse Workers Resource Center that I don't know how to organize, but from the time that I started here, I have been 100% engaged with my coworkers because I genuinely cared. I wanted to see who we were, why we were here, and like what brought us to come like to this brand new building that looked like a Amazon package. And I genuinely cared like what walks of life we all came from, because I felt that
Yeah.
my life was interesting before I came to Amazon. So I wanted to know other people's lives.
Yeah.
And from that, I didn't even know that that's what organizers do. They just care about people to make sure that the people that you care about are cared for. So I'm not an organizer, but I act like one.
Yeah, and when I first came to Amazon, I felt very uncomfortable. I didn't really feel welcome.
That's why
Yeah.
I gravitated towards her.
And so I made it a point of once I feel like I got my legs underneath me and I did fit, in, and I knew my job and I knew how to work well and I knew how things worked. When new people got hired or I saw somebody that needed help and needed a little extra help understanding what was going on, or was struggling a little bit, I helped those people and I helped train them and I helped them feel welcome. And so I didn't know that was going to be a thing, but it did. It built a team in my department, right? We all became a little bit closer because we did accept each other for who they were. We did work together, and
With something
Yeah.
else that was a common goal.
so
Yeah.
that it was organizing already, but just not with the purpose of changing things in the warehouse.
Yeah.
I told Sarah, like, and I've shared with other people that being a queer person, our experiences, our life experiences, they're like we've been organizing before organizing, like we knew what organizing was because we already were talking to people, feeling people out to see if they were in a safe space for us.
Right.
So without us knowing that we were organizing, we were basically checking like the climate of areas to see if we were welcome, if they were welcome spaces for us. Or for me, because I speak from me that as a queer person, I have to gauge a space to see if I'm welcome there to let go. That's organizing. You have to see, like, you have to see the space to see, gauge it, and then to see, like, okay, it's welcome, it's hostile. No, we don't want to engage. Or yes, let's share our message.
That's a really good point. I mean, like it's kind of already organizing, right? But anybody can be like a leader. Anybody, there's no one way to be a leader. There's no one like version of what a leader is. Like it's just comes down to if somebody has like good relationships with other people and other people can like go to you and ask for advice, or they know that you are always like going to be helpful towards them, right? Like that's kind of what organizing is, right? But like if you don't consider yourself an organizer, maybe you just consider yourself like a good person. Like that's what a good person would do.
I mean, like I see voids, right, in my life, and like in situations where I might need a hand or help or some compassion or some grace from somebody that it doesn't, and when it doesn't happen, right? So I know that those things are missing. So when I see other people going through things, you can kind of see, okay, this person needs a little grace right now, or this person, needs actual help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you can see what's going on with yourself and then apply it to other people. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how you make good connections.
Yeah. And it's so important to like humanize like the work and the workplace and your coworkers and stuff too, because at a facility like an Amazon, right, where you're just about numbers and productivity and output, it's like that it kind of like fosters that environment where you just see other people as like a way to get to whatever they're trying to do, like whatever they're trying to output, right? but it's like, I know there was also that other thing that you're doing on Instagram about like behind the smile.
Yeah,
of
that is a beautiful
That's
thing, and
brilliant.
to see like some of the insight from my other coworkers and how they feel, like it's really dope. And I think like those are conversations we should be having with each other as just as human beings.
Yeah.
We bring a lot of labor to that building, but as a human, we bring a lot more. And each individual person,
This got hella
like,
deep.
if you guys don't
My
take the
bad.
time to listen to people as a human factor, then you'll never get more than like their login, because that's all you guys see them as. And when you take the time to see who the is behind the smile, I had an acronym that you can't get to from A to Z without getting LMNOP. Let's make organizing our priority.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Amazon's whole
Slogan
structure,
machine.
they cannot fulfill A to Z without getting to us. Listen to us. We don't always have to organize, but we're talking amongst ourselves. You bought the company that could build the robots, but you clearly don't build more robots because you need the human variable. So treat us like the human that we are. And then, have you heard, this is for Jeff, Mr. Jeff, you know, treat your employees right and your employees will run the building. That goes for life.
Yeah.
That goes for any business owner. If you treat your employees right, your employees can run the show. But if you don't entrust in your employees, or if you don't trust your core group to do what you hired them to do, then
The best idea I've ever heard is, what if these warehouses were built to work for and with the human body's ergonomics and not for the speed of the processes. And then that way these jobs and these warehouses could provide longevity.
right now they're built for you to unload that airplane, load the trailer,
And
unload
go.
the trailer, load the airplane, because everyone wants their 2-day promise. And they don't see what comes, like the labor that you have to do to get them that 2-day promise. I'm an Amazon Prime, I'm a hypocrite. I fucking pay into that myself because there's a convenience that I live in the middle of nowhere that is provided to me. It takes me more effort to go into a Target into town than to just order it from Amazon. So there's still some
not wrong.
simplicity
Yeah.
to that, but I want people to see what happens behind you getting your package in 2 days. There's people like Sara, there's people like Alfonso, and there's Carolines and Carolinas and Michaels and Miguels all making that happen. But if you don't see that, you just get your package in 2 days. The reward, you don't see the
Right,
struggle.
and I used to order from Amazon all the time. You know what it was like to come home from work and see the little brown box on the porch? I get excited. It's almost like getting high. Like
Christmas.
You're like, woohoo, there's my package. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And we all do it. We're all guilty. So like, I'll be honest with you, when I canceled my Prime, like I didn't know what kind of impact that was actually gonna have on my life, and I was upset when I did it, right? And so I canceled it, and then like, bro, it's been a struggle.
I don't pay
Like,
for
I'm
Prime.
telling you can cut this part out if you want to, but
Yeah.
not having Amazon Prime
Yeah.
has impacted my life.
But
so.
like, you guys don't get a
Damn
discount on it?
No, that is my biggest.
we
guys don't
do,
get a
yes,
discount?
we do
Oh.
get a discount.
No,
I don't know if we can
no,
actually
no.
talk about
not
that.
on the Prime membership.
No, I'm ready to go on the
itself.
mic for this.
Oh no, I don't know if this is
Yes,
allowable.
yes.
Okay.
So
You
as
got
an
the-
Amazon employee, Prime, like I'm paying for it, but paying $12 a day to get
$12.
or excuse me, $12 a month to get a 2-day promise that people like Sara, people like Alfie, people like Sam, people like Sophia are gonna get you your packages on time? Absolutely not. I would like for you guys to put a face to your packages, like put some emphasis on your labor, because I went from working 70 hours a work week to now only saying that value my 40 hours. Make me feel comfortable, or not comfortable, but make me be able to live for my 40 hours a week that I'm giving you guys. Because you guys get your packages just on time in 2 days. But I don't get to pay my rent on time if Amazon doesn't think that it's appropriate. So value me.
Yeah.
That's all that I want. Like, that's what I want the public to take the stigma away that warehouse workers take the job that you don't want. Yeah, you don't want this fucking job, but if nobody takes it, you don't get your so pay me.
So the point really is for Amazon not to see us as a never-ending disposable resource, right?
Facts.
Especially here in the IE.
Facts.
Yeah.
So, and that goes for Amazons across the nation.
Not just Amazon's, excuse me.
We're not disposable.
Yeah, not just
And we're not
Amazon's.
never ending. We're human beings. We have families. We have lives.
We can't just say
And,
that though. I do have to cut
Each
that.
one of us matters.
We can't just say Amazon. We have to
Yeah.
say all corporations or all warehouses.
Yeah.
Okay.
My bad.
We
Okay.
cannot bash Amazon,
Amazon.
specifically.
Logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
can.
right now, let's just retract it.
Yeah. My bad.
Logistics
Logistics
are-
companies and all warehouse companies cannot continue to take from the IE. They have created this system where they just extract, and they don't see us as a human variable or as anything more. So right now, Amazon is acting like corporations, including my employer, Walmart and the Waltz, Targets, Home Depot, all these
Starbucks.
places have
Yep.
seen an opportune market where they are setting up shop here in the IE in particular, and they're extracting labor, and they're seeing people like we are a raw resources, disposable.
Never ending.
And what
Yeah.
happens though when you put shit like that under pressure? What happens when you put coal under pressure, baby? The diamonds
Yep,
start
facts.
to form.
That's
So-
true.
So they keep extracting this raw labor, and it's okay because they're getting their coal, they're getting their day to day. But under all that pressure, there's some diamonds that are forming.
Yeah.
And those cluster of diamonds, they have a name to them. They call themselves the IEAWU. That is a Inland Empire Amazon Workers United. We have a face, and it's not just these two. There's a lot of us, and there's a lot more. So I forgot that there's
Yeah.
a recording, but any Amazons that are out there, if you feel that you want to be a
Logistics.
part of this,
Any logistics.
excuse me, any logistics company that feels like you guys want to be a part of the IE Amazon Workers United group, whether you work at an Amazon or other logistics company, reach out, feel heard, because if you feel like this, it's probably because we all felt like this before, and there's a group of people that felt like this that are doing something about it.
I love that.
So here's my final thought on this whole situation.
Okay, Bill Nye.
You can't stop change, and you can't stop progress, right? So
True.
big corporations, they try, right? They're gonna try to slow it down, but it's honestly just a waste of their time, energy, and effort, and most importantly, their money. And so when they figure out that it's cheaper to pay your workers right and treat them right instead of fighting change, that's when things are really gonna get better.
Yep.
No, that's never gonna happen. This building a colony on Mars.
I liked ending on the positive note.
You like that?
Yeah, that was
bad.
great.
Okay, so
Thank you for coming today. Thanks for giving us your thoughts. This is really, really insightful, and I'm sure like people at home are like really interested to hear about it. So
Miss
maybe there will be another.
Yes, Miss
Yeah.
Thing, you better invite me again.
Yeah.
part 2
The
coming
people
soon.
want to know.
The people
How
wanna
are you
know.
getting your package?
KSBD.
Behind
Tune
the
in next
smile.
time for
Continues.
part 2.